Pop Culture Pastor.
Cody, I don't follow the NBA until the playoffs start. So
Yeah.
Because I lost interest in the NBA a long time ago because for me, it's not real basketball.
For me, Michael Jordan's not walking through those doors.
I mean, I loved Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan is kind of the beginning of the end of basketball, in my opinion, in the NBA. What exists now is more like, it's usually like a two-man game, pick and rolls, and it's just versions of that. And I'm just not a fan anymore. So I don't pay much attention. So I wasn't aware that the Lakers are terrible.
Hot trash. That's what the kids are saying.
This would be the LeBron James Lakers. I just find that interesting because there's always this debate between LeBron and Michael Jordan. And I'm just like, man, I don't know if there's a debate because even the Wizards era Jordan, that team was not trash. They weren't great like his other teams, but...
So the Wizards team was really young around MJ.
Yeah.
Where this Lakers team is just as old as LeBron. And so LeBron shines, and then you have Russell Westbrook. Dude, you shouldn't pick up a basketball anymore. Sorry, Russ.
What's funny to me is apparently they've started off this season very terribly, and the Lakers brought in somebody to try to motivate them or inspire them.
As one does.
Right. You're in LA, maybe you're in Hollywood. So maybe you bring in a movie star who happens to be a fan of the Lakers.
Samwise Gamgee. That's who I would have brought in. Because then he doubles as Rudy.
They didn't bring in Rudy. They did not bring in Mikey from the Goonies. No, they went with Will Smith.
What?
Yeah. Will Smith. The guy who last we heard of slapped a dude on national television. Is that a little odd?
Maybe they thought the potential of physical violence might motivate the team.
What? Like, did they just decide? Was that a second choice where they're like, well, Denzel can't come? So I guess Will offered, we can bring in Will Smith. It's just a strange deal to be like, what did Will Smith? I badly want to know what Will Smith said to them to encourage them.
And why it didn't work.
Bringing in a movie star to speak to an athletic team is just a weird thing to do anyways, right?
Yeah.
You're the Los Angeles Lakers. You start off 0 and whatever. You're generally being very terrible at the sport of basketball. And you bring in an actor. But why? Like, what is an actor doing that will be so encouraging and motivating to athletes unless we're talking about Denzel? Because I've heard Denzel be encouraging and motivating, and he actually is pretty encouraging. Like, he could have been a public speaker beyond just being an actor.
So I think Denzel or Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Those are the two.
Of course. Yes, right. Because we knew it was Cody. The Rock was going to come in there somewhere.
He would restore the hierarchy to basketball. But
what does he say? What does he come in there and be like, well, let me tell you something. Every day when I'm pretending to be someone else.
I mean,
what?
Matthew McConaughey spoke to the Texas football team.
Okay. Matthew McConaughey's got a little Denzel quality to him, though, where I've heard him speak too. And he's probably, McConaughey wrote books. He's written books. Like, this is a dude who probably could be other things other than an actor. And
I think Will Smith wrote an autobiography.
Well, come on. That doesn't count.
Ouch.
It doesn't count. What was the name of his autobiography? Parents Just Don't Understand?
If not, he missed on a huge...
I'm sure it's something to do with being the Fresh Prince. Gosh, it's got to be something like that. I don't even know. I'm just saying, I don't know that given the events of the past year, even if you take the events of the past year out, I'm not sure what Will Smith is saying to a team to encourage them, an athletic team. And given the events of last year, I'm definitely not sure what he's saying other than because how is everyone in that room just not like, oh, the dude who slapped Chris Rock is here?
Maybe they should have brought in Ray Lewis. Ray can get anyone pumped up.
Yeah, that's true.
I've seen him talk to many teams.
Well, okay, but then you're bringing in another athlete to talk to athletes. That makes sense.
Yes.
That makes sense to me. Like there's lots of former athletes you could have brought in to speak to your locker room if you're the Lakers. And I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. This literally made news because everybody was like, what?
If Michael Jordan wasn't the owner of the Charlotte Hornets, I would have brought him in and had him just trash talk the whole team.
I was going to say, Michael Jordan is such a grumpy old man. Like, they would walk out of there and go scoreless. Nobody would have the will to play basketball anymore. They'd be just like, we're terrible. If I wanted to, okay, so if I was involved in corporate espionage and I wanted to damage a company's workers, I would send in Michael Jordan to speak to them. You're all worthless and weak. I could have done this job all by myself. And that's probably honest.
And I have done this job by myself.
He probably would do it just to spite everyone that said he couldn't. Because that's who Michael Jordan is.
That would be great.
Yeah. Anyways, being a professional athlete, I think we can all agree it must be a weird life. You're not doing your job well, or you're not gelling well, or you're not working as a unit well, and then they bring in Will Smith to come talk to you.
Yes.
That's just out there. I couldn't even make that up.
I wish we could.
Let's pretend, Cody, that you are the general manager of a favorite local team. So if it's the NBA, I guess the closest team is the Oklahoma City Thunder. But it could be the Kansas City Chiefs or the Kansas City Royals. Let's go with the Royals.
Okay.
So you are the GM of the Kansas City Royals. And the Royals start the next season, and they're being the Royals, generally underachieving, not being very good. God himself comes down to tell you need to get a motivational speaker. Right? I'm using God to just set the parameters here. That's all.
Okay.
Because there's going to be a rule. You need to go get a motivational speaker from the entertainment industry from the 1980s. They can only be a speaker from the 1980s to speak to the Royals, to get them to win. Who are you getting? And why is it Mr. T?
So
I pity the fool. Don't win more games.
Like in my head, I was going through the Rocky franchise. And I'm like,
I mean, Sylvester Stallone's not a bad choice.
Post or the new like spin-offs from Rocky, he's a great speaker.
Yeah.
But in Rocky, I don't know if he's the best. And so like once you said Mr. T, I'm like, oh yeah, that's who I'm going with.
Yeah. Because you could go Clint Eastwood, but he's maybe a little too intense. It's just the intensity's a little much, Clint. Can we dial it back, especially 80s Clint?
Yeah.
He's just like, so what'll it be? Punk. The breathing. He's got like the breathing. Anyways, it's a little much. And, other than that, you're looking at who are the big guys in the 80s?
Tom Selleck. We could have brought in Alf.
Hey. I mean, it really has to be Mr. T. Because Mr. T checks all of the boxes. He's strong, but he's loving.
Yes.
He's a man of God.
Yeah, he got I Pity the Fool from Proverbs.
Yeah. He's a guy who reads Proverbs, which listen, if I'm bringing anyone to speak to anyone about anything, reading the book of Proverbs is a great start.
It and James. Ecclesiastes, not everyone's there for it yet.
Yeah.
Rodney Dangerfield, if you need to lighten the mood.
Maybe we bring him on before. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I need a guy where if my players are talking amongst themselves, will just say, no more jibber jabber. And, has all the gold chains.
Kirk Cameron.
No. No. So, Cody, we were at Salina Comic Con last weekend. Or was that 2 weekends ago? That's
2 weekends ago. It's all blending.
And I saw a young lady with a service animal. And it had the little sign on it that said, please do not pet the service animal. But it was a really cute golden retriever. I've had this thought, and I never really thought this before, but they should make service animals not cute. This dog was the most pettable dog I think I've ever seen in my life. I wanted so badly to pet it. It took every fiber of my being to hold myself back from petting this dog. That dog shouldn't be a service dog. Am I being selfish?
You are being selfish. Man.
It was just so cute. It was Goldens. I have a weakness for golden retrievers.
And it's all because you grew up loving Full House.
No,
I hear you.
It has nothing to do with Full House. I hated Full House. Never watched it.
How dare you speak hatred about Dave Coulier's hit show Full House?
I mean, I think you meant to say Bob Saget's hit show. But then I might have thought you were talking about America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yes. It was either Dave or John Stamos.
John Stamos. But seriously, though, why do we make cute dogs service animals and then tell people not to pet them?
Because cute dogs are intelligent dogs.
Whoa. That was profiling, sir. That doesn't line up.
Golden retrievers are intelligent dogs.
Okay, golden retrievers, but you have to think they're
Labs
cute. That's like saying all blondes are smart. That metaphor didn't quite work out.
It did not line out.
That would be like saying all cute people are smart. And I can testify. I can name names. Look at me. Not cute, but I think I'm smart. Thanks for telling me that you thought I was cute. Thank you. You're a true friend. What? Say what you're going to say.
Like labs are cute dogs and they're smart.
I think all service animals should be hairless cats.
Ew.
Exactly.
Ew.
Exactly my point. The only person that wants to pet them are Bond villains.
If the service animal is like a therapy dog, or in this case, a therapy cat, you are punishing the person that needs the services of the animal by making it a hairless cat.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Just as a special reminder, no one is allowed to touch my therapy burrito. So, Cody, I'm at the gas station where the bus stop is this morning. You know where that one is?
I do.
And I'm going in there to get my Mountain Dew energy drink. Orange Breeze, in case you wanted to know.
I did not.
Yeah, well, somebody did. Somebody out there was like, what Mountain Dew flavor energy drink is Dave drinking? It's Orange Breeze, and it's amazing. And as I'm walking in, I noticed that they have a bus stop there, and the bus has stopped. And usually what they do when they get there is they let the people off the bus that are traveling on the bus to go out and get snacks and such. Go to the bathroom, do whatever they need. And as I'm walking to the gas station, the convenience store, I notice someone has a service animal. Now, we talked about this the other day, Cody, about the service animal.
That you want all service animals to be the ugliest thing ever, so you won't
or
feel tempted
I want them
to
to be pettable. What? Explain to me. Okay, now why aren't service animals pettable again? Can you remind me? What's the problem with that?
Because if you are petting them, then you are distracting them from their service. Because, like, there's some service dogs that can tell when someone's about to, like, have a diabetic episode. There are some service dogs that are supposed to be seeing eye dogs. And if you are distracting them and petting them, and then they get trained to love being petted by random strangers, they're going to go off course, go away from what they're supposed to be doing, and they'll be pulling their service owner around instead of being helpful.
Okay, right. So if I walked up to Joe Biden in the Situation Room in the White House and something big was going on, I started petting him. It would be distracting.
It would be.
Joe might like it. He might be like, oh, man, get right there on my back. I got a scratch on my back. Could you scratch that on my back? Oh, right there behind my ear. Mm-hmm. That's the spot. And his arm would start going like this.
I don't think so.
It would be distracting. Okay, so I got you. But then the dog I saw this morning, it was one of those big, fluffy, fat golden retrievers, and he's so cute. I was like, why are these service dogs always the cutest, most pettable dogs? He was so fluffy and a gorgeous golden retriever. And, I have a weakness for golden retrievers already.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just sitting there in line and I'm holding my Mountain Dew energy drink. And I'm just like, I'm like having to hold my arm back. Like it was Bruce Campbell in The Evil Dead. It's like not a part of my body anymore. And I'm fighting with my hand.
Oh my goodness.
It's just so difficult. And I say again, start training like the hairless dogs. Are there hairless dogs?
They're short-haired dogs.
Bear with me. Service pugs. Because pugs are ugly.
Again, they're way too small.
There's got to be a way, Cody. Then shave the golden retriever. Make him look weird.
That's not nice for the golden retriever. There's a reason God put that much hair.
There's a reason God made golden retrievers, and that's to pet. I just can't it's so hard. It's so difficult. I can't take him seriously. It's okay. Let's put it in human standards, right? Let's say that someone close to you has had an accident. And the hospital, you get to the hospital, you have no idea what's going on. You just know that it's an emergency situation and someone you love is in bad shape. And the person they send out, the hospital sends out to deliver the news to you is a fluffy golden retriever. No, I'll try to put it in human standards. So for maybe a man, it's like a supermodel. I don't know, just pick one. I mean, isn't that distracting? I mean, yes. Like, I'm not talking just run-of-the-mill beauty. I'm talking about, like, imagine in your head someone who's just drop-dead gorgeous. I don't know. Wouldn't that be distracting?
No.
What do you mean? Not at all?
No.
Then it's probably a bad metaphor. I'm trying to figure out an equivalent that would be distracting for a human. I'm just really distracted by golden retrievers. I'm sorry.
So the moral of the story is Danielle by Dave, a golden retriever.
We used to have a golden retriever. She was a great dog. Her name was Haley, and we had her when we first got married, and she lived I want to say 10 years almost. I'm not quite sure, but she was a good dog, and she was good with the kids. The kids loved her. She didn't do much but lay around. But once when she was younger, she took my 3-year-old son, now my oldest son, on an adventure. He got out of the house and followed the dog like 3 blocks away, and he was lost for like 10 minutes, and we were all freaking out. And she was with the dog. The dog kept him safe.
Aww.
Yeah, it's a good story now. Freaked me out then, but yeah, all I'm saying is like Pekingese therapy dogs. Let's give that a shot. Because Pekingese dogs are ugly.
Or Irish wolfhounds.
Hairless chihuahuas.
Ew.
All right, Cody. We need to talk about this movie trailer that we saw. The weariness is already presented because it's a Christian movie.
I was trying to go through the movies that we have trailers that we have both recently watched, and I could only come up with that one.
Oh, man. Well, when you sent it to me, and I watched it, and through about the first 30 seconds of it, I was like, please let this be a joke. Please let this be a joke. Is this a joke? It wasn't a joke. Some church in Colorado, is that Because there was like
believe
this
so.
message displaying at the bottom of the screen throughout most of the trailer. They've budgeted this movie, and it's called Journey to Hell. And here's the way I envision it. You remember that book and subsequently made into a movie called Heaven is for Real?
Vaguely familiar, yes.
About the kid who has the appendicitis. Greg Kinnear was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then he travels to heaven while he's almost dying and then comes back. It was a very popular book here some years ago. Well, this would be like that, except for the person that nearly dies goes to hell and just has experiences there. And imagine someone making a movie of that. Now imagine it's someone in the church making a movie of that. So like it's not like Wes Craven style. It's not played for horror. I mean, it kind of is, but in the Christian way. And oh boy, Cody, do I have all the hot takes and issues with this. First of all, so it's got like your classic Dante vision of hell, right? It's red, things are burning, but then randomly people are just kind of standing around because you can't show people burning in a movie. Like nobody's going to go see that movie. So they're just kind of standing around in a red room and like basically having the actors expound like it's bad. It's bad in here.
Well, when you don't have like a budget for great CGI.
Yeah. Basically, the trailer gives you the idea that what hell is there's just random fires, bad people, and really bad actors. But the whole point of this trailer is to scare people, I guess. Would I be correct in saying that?
I think it would be maybe they remembered the parable with Lazarus. The rich guy that had a slave named Lazarus, and he's like, send Lazarus back and tell my family, don't be like me.
It's the old Scrooge story.
A little bit.
Kind of. Well, this is bad. This movie's bad.
Real bad.
So what are your thoughts on this movie, Journey to Hell, Cody? What were you thinking when you saw this trailer?
Well, with all the things that kept popping up on the bottom of the screen, I was like, this can't be real. And then it just kept going, and I'm like, oh, I can see someone making this. The part where they really, really lose me, and it's at the very end of the trailer.
They didn't lose you to the very end?
He gets resuscitated from nearly drowning. In like his initial words, like literally hasn't had much time to spit out the water. He's like instantly professing Jesus like publicly, in which I'm like, okay, that's a necessary step, but still you could take a moment to breathe before you start actually doing that.
I love that that's where it lost you. Not the entire trailer where he's in hell. So this whole story is apparently like the opposite of Heaven is for Real. This guy dies or has a near-death experience and goes to hell.
Literally what it reminded me of is the Lion King when Scar's singing Be Prepared.
Yeah.
And like, so there's just random little areas of fire, and it's kind of gloomy looking and just random people off to the side, but no one singing like Jeremy Irons, which is the disappointing part. But I mean, that's the imagery it brings about, that they really didn't have much of a budget, so they used a barren wasteland and then put little fires all around it.
Yeah. So first of all, they try to make it scary, but hell's not very scary in this video because number one, it looks like a high school production put it on because they didn't have enough money to pull this off. They had enough money to distribute the movie apparently because they cut a trailer. So that's the first problem, is it looks super not scary. Number two, the other big problem I have is it's a version of hell that's not really biblical. Like the whole fire and brimstone thing. It's a Dante thing.
I mean, I didn't witness a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah. The important biblical parts are, the weeping, the gnashing of teeth, and the separation from God, which is implied, I suppose. We'll give him that one.
Yeah.
Here's the other problem I had with it, though. There's people in hell that are specifically real. So two people show up in the trailer, okay? One of them is Adolf Hitler.
Because, of course.
Yes, right. Number 2 is Judas Iscariot. Here's my problem. You don't know what the last moments of those two men's life were like. You don't know if they came to repentance in the last moments of their life.
And you don't know how God's going to judge them.
You don't know how God's going to judge them. You're literally falling into the good person trap. Well, we got to put someone in hell in our movie, and so I'm just going to think about all the people that I'm better than.
I like to think that maybe the makers of this movie did watch a hit classic Adam Sandler movie called Lil Nicky. And that's where
Was it a hit or classic?
It is kind of a cult fave amongst Sandler heads.
Also known as potheads. Because that's the only people that can enjoy that. That movie was... Anyways, I don't want to get off track, but at least it was a more accurate depiction of hell in that movie.
But they had Hitler in hell there too, and so maybe that's where they're like...
Played for laughs.
It was played for laughs.
It wasn't serious. It wasn't from the church.
And literally, I think maybe they watched it and was like, oh, this is a common representation.
But let me get down to the brass tacks of this, because we've diagnosed that the movie's poorly made, that it's cheaply made, and it loses the effect they wanted to have. Let's talk about the effect they were trying to go with just in general. Let's talk about the idea. Why is a church using... how much money do you think they spent on this movie? Are we talking at least $50,000?
Probably in that ballpark.
Let's say that's conservative. Let's just say they spent $50,000 on a movie trying to scare people to Jesus. Now, far be it from me to tell you how to do ministry, but the world's tactics are fear. That's the world's tactics. That's like everything from the media, climate change and AI and fears of financial collapse and the Illuminati and all of that stuff. Everything the world does is fear-based. They're trying to get you to do this because of fear. And to see the church join in on this and to make a movie about someone going to hell and it being an awful, terrible place, and then wanting to visualize that and show it to people and then be like, okay, so in their minds, let's pretend they thought they had all the money they needed to make a true representation of hell, which we know will be bad. If people don't just wail and gnash their teeth.
For kicks and giggles.
Yeah. So we understand it's going to be bad. That you thought you could make a visual representation of that, scare the life out of people, and then go, love Jesus, and that would work?
It's a very, I guess, Puritan approach. Jonathan Edwards' sermon, Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God style, I guess. Although Jonathan Edwards' sermon had a lot more biblical references and imagery than the trailer did to this fine film. The Left Behind franchise and all the random movies that's depicted the end of times and Revelation and all that jazz, because that's where we were in the 90s within the Christian film industry. There's a reason those films aren't being made and massively promoted right now, because it didn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. And I'm going to tell you something, and I'm sure if you're a deep theologian, you could probably argue with me, but I'm going to say this. God doesn't want your fear. He wants your love. So this is a ridiculous way to try to convert anybody. God doesn't want your fear. He wants your love. And I know that there's a bunch of theologians out there who are just yelling at their radios saying, but Dave, God gets angry a lot. Yeah, but let me take you all the way back to the beginning. All the way back to the beginning when God gives Adam and Eve the ability to make choices and to not choose him. Why would you do that? If you wanted their fear, he could have just made them the weak people they were and the strong thing he was, and ruled over them like an iron fist and made them do whatever he wanted to do, because he could wipe them from existence whenever he wanted to. But guess what? He didn't want their fear. He wanted their love. And in order to love someone and to want that love returned, you have to make yourself vulnerable. You have to make the other person gets the choice of loving you back. And that's the story of everything. That's why humans are the way we are. This is why we get to come to Jesus and not be made to come, because we've been given the free opportunity, because God wants your love, not your fear. I mean, I don't know how you can see that any other way. And that doesn't mean that there's not things in the Bible that tell us the fear of the Lord leads to wisdom. We should love God, but we use the word fear a lot there, but more awe would be a better term, be closer to the original language, which awe is a word that means kind of a fear, but not like your horror movie scare fear.
It's more of a reverence.
It's seeing something so big and you're so little that it produces an awe that has a tinge of fear. God wants your love, not your fear. That's what I'm saying. So I'm sorry to anyone who saw the trailer for this that wasn't a Christian. Surely they didn't fool anybody into, converting anybody anyways. But if you did get a little scared, or anybody that's going to see the movie and get a little scared, know that that's not really what God wants. Hey, everybody, it's Dave. Thank you for listening to our Radio Leftovers podcast. Everything you just heard is from our morning radio show on KFEX 93.1. You can hear us every morning between 8 a.m. and noon. Those are Central Standard Times on www.kfex931.com. If Christian music's your jam, go ahead and listen. You won't be disappointed. Thank you so much for listening. Coming up this week, our Friday pod, the pod that drops on Friday, our main episodes, is going to be a Be Kind Rewind episode. So stay tuned for that. I'll let you know what movie we're going to be rewinding to on our social media, so you can react to that and have conversations and whatever. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure and subscribe and give us reviews and ratings and share us. All of that helps to get more people to listen and for us to do bigger and better things. Thank you so much to you guys. We love you guys that listen, and we'll see you soon.